What's going on, everybody?
Yo,
Yeah, another episode of Save the Date. I'm one of your hosts, Heath.
what's good, everybody? This is Jamie, aka Jo the Pro, and I ain't got to tell you what it is because you already know.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is all day, every day. Guys, before we get into this episode, Save the Day Reacts. We got a lot of great episodes coming a lot of great reactions coming your way today. So much great content, dating content. It's always coming up in my feed on TikTok, always coming up in my feed on the gram. I'm at Heath Saves the Date if you guys are interested. Of course, Save the Date Now is our official site, web address, or rather gram handle. And also Save the Date Now, YouTube and TikTok. And our TikTok is bubbling. Today's question was, what do you find cringy, or what do you find date cringe or your date ick? And we got a lot of love, a lot of interesting comments about that. And we've been, sometimes we give comments, sometimes we post questions, and thanks to everyone who's been responding to the questions, leaving comments. It's very heartwarming because it just shows you that as much as people are fed up and angry, which they are, there's also hope out there. It's still engaged. So there's still a shred, a sliver of hope in order to change the conversation and hopefully open the door. But we're definitely witnessing some interesting conversations. One of the reactions I'm going to want to talk about eventually, we won't do it today, is a woman in BBC, which is British Broadcasting.
Not to be confused
It's
with.
used with a popular porn acronym, but she was talking about the femisphere and the manosphere, and I'd love to talk about that. And the reason I'm talking about that is she delineates, as you can see in the manosphere, and I think this goes for the gender war, people who are really falling on hard lines, whether they're separatists or they are trads, people who want to go back to traditional roles, people who want, these future casting. But I think the issue with future casting is we don't have a lot of dialogue about what future iterations of love can actually look like between human being to human being. I hear plenty of people saying, I'm going to get myself a robot for some booty calls. So I definitely hear about the, Android hookups. But when it comes to human being to human being, there isn't a lot of future casting. And so I'd love to contextualize that conversation in future casting and looking at what is the future and the hope of people being together, giving the impacts of many different aspects of our economy, many different aspects of our society that are being altered or changed, I would say, quickly, on speed. On that note, let's go to our first video from Scott Galloway. Once again, dropping gems, mob deep and dropping a gem on them.
Men should pay for everything. I think the fertility window of women is much shorter. Their sexual currency diminishes greatly by the time they're 40. The downside of sex is much greater for them. The downside of pregnancy is much greater for them. In sum, when a young woman who is of childbearing age is spending time with you, quite frankly, her time is more valuable than yours.
Poof, that was a mouthful.
I don't want to say a mouth. Go ahead.
Pause, right?
No, not even that. I was just going to say a mouthful of nothing for me, but go ahead. Go ahead. Talk. Say what you were going to say.
For me, I felt like it was an important thing to say. I'm in agreement with a lot of what he said. As far as the deets he gave, I thought the comparisons with larger mammal culture was interesting as well. Obviously, where I thought the real kicker was about the money. And the money and dating and the culture of what we're in. I don't think we're in a capitalist age. I think we're in a techno-feudalist age. So that's a difference too. We're not living in the capitalist vision of Adam Smith. We are living in the capitalist vision of, I would say, a slew of oligarchs who seem to have a lot of sway, not only economically, but politically in this country, that are impacting policy and impacting wages and impacting the future of our economy here in the United States. So for me, that part was crucial that he said that, because I think there's a lot of men, a large swath of men, who would agree with what he had to say or are willing at least to do it. But they would say, well, where's the money coming from? Because I don't have $200, $300, $400, $500 for a date, and not be eating out of cat food cans.
On my college dorm diet.
Yeah, exactly. Eating ramen noodles and driving my sodium up through the wall.
Still trying to take somebody out.
Yeah, trying to take somebody out. So I'm in agreement with him as far as what he's saying, beat for beat. It's just, where do we turn the corner where men can really do what he's suggesting? There was a new study out that women are buying more mortgages, not buying, but acquiring more mortgages than men, and buying homes subsequently. And what does that mean for men? And they're saying there's obviously a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth between men and women about this new opportunity that's arisen, and this new data point about women's success and progress. And what does that mean now for men and women who are now in a culture clash or gender war? Some would argue because of money, because of the state of the economy. You could talk about failing values, the culture's change, body counts, all that. I think if men were able to generate certain levels of income and education akin to what women have, I think the conversations would be different. I'm not saying the gender war wouldn't be here, but I think it would be totally different. And I actually do think the volume of the gender war would be down. So it would still be here, but it wouldn't be humming at an 8 or a strong 9. It maybe be at a 3 or 4, you know, like it was years ago, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, all that, she says tomato, he says tomato. It ain't that now.
Yeah, no.
It ain't that now.
Is you coming with the shank and I'm coming with the 4.5 and
Yeah,
we just gonna
exactly.
have it
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
See
If you
who's
got the
standing at
4.5, I'm coming with the rocket launcher. You got the rocket launcher, I got the tank.
Yeah,
I'm
you
always
got the
coming with the
tank,
higher level
I
of
got the
warfare.
B-52. Yo, wherever the chicks
Yeah,
fall,
that's where
that's
it's gonna
just where
go.
it is. Yeah, that's what it
And I'll
seems
see
like.
you in hell. I'll see you in hell.
For real.
Yeah.
We'll
And not
be
that,
bosom buddies down there, burning
yeah.
up together. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna
but it's
be
gonna be on business because I stood on business. If I'm down
yeah,
there, it's because I stood on business up here. Yeah, there's this almost fatalistic, and they talked about that in that BBC thing. Fatalism is a big part of the manosphere, femisphere. Just hey, it is what it is, and I'll see you in hell. But then we're all both gonna be in hell. I don't care about that. As long as I sent you there first. What do you, man? Prodigy say on that song "Right Back at You" off the Mobb Deep second album? I don't give a fuck. What do you say? I don't care about your presence. I don't give a care. Basically, he's saying, as long as I send your maggot ass to the essence, I don't give a
I
F
don't
about
give
my
a
presence.
F about my yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. There we go. Finally got the line. Yeah, I don't give,
As
as long as I
long as
send
I
your,
send your F to the essence, I
yeah,
don't give a damn about my yeah, I
yeah, that's
remember that.
crazy to me. That
Yeah,
line always stuck out to me because it just shows you the fatalistic mentality of death culture. And that's playing out a little bit here in the gender war. If not a little
yeah.
bit, a lot of it.
Yeah. Why I said it was a mouthful of nothing for me, bro, is because to me, this is just as outdated as submission. When we had the old school Love Lounge on and Tony was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
yo, why are
Mm-hmm.
people still talking about submission? This is how I feel about men should pay for everything. Like to me, it's so outdated because on one hand, I don't think it's fair to leave one portion or one element of a relationship up to anyone. I feel like that's what causes imbalance. I feel like that's what makes people end up feeling taken for granted,
Mm-hmm.
taken advantage of, and especially around money. Listen, man, this is part of what women have been fighting for, to be able to make their own. And I think someone who's making their own money is going to want to contribute. I think people who make their own money when they get into something with someone else, there's something almost innate as someone who is earning their way that they apply that calculus to everything that they do. So they don't want to just be taken care of or just kept like that. I go to work because I want to feel productive. I want to feel like I'm earning my way. And so I think, to kind of just place that all on one side, whether it be men or women, to me is just kind of outdated. And I feel like it's a setup for disaster. Now, I think to your point, there are some men who are just traditional in that way and they think that way. But, I feel like we have too many different models now to just rely on that. Like we have people who are successfully doing 50-50 together. There are people who are successfully alternating
Mm-hmm.
1 month income pays the bill 1 month. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like there's all of these
Mm-hmm.
different ways that people can financially be successful, come together, pull their resources together, and create an environment where everybody feels like they're earning their way, they're contributing, and things still get taken care of. Now, obviously, to me, that was more so a relationship thing when he's talking about with dating, the mention of how much money is spent before a date, to me, I liken that to the effort a man has to show in order to be a viable option. So like if I've gone through the process of getting my body right and of, going after certain jobs so I make a certain kind of money and I'm in a certain income bracket. If I've done all of these things to improve myself, that to me is the same as whatever money is being spent before a date. So I've had to build myself up to this to be even looked at for a date. This person, this woman, I'm saying this as a man, this woman is deciding to, like you said, go get waxed and the makeup and all these different things, hair and nails done to look good for a date. So we've both put in effort and time to get ready for this date. One person's, it was just, maybe a day or two beforehand, and someone else was, I guess, let's just call it after 18, 6 years up until you're 24, 25, 7 years to build yourself up to be a viable option to be a date.
Mhm.
So to me, that kind of cancels itself out. The mammalian similarities, to me, it was kind of awkward because animals don't court, they mate. And they have mating rituals. They don't have courting rituals. And courting is a human thing. We've made that something that you do as a process to marriage.
Mhm.
Now we can say, hey, listen, money means, as a man, now if I come to the dating table and I say, hey, if money means X, Y, and Z to you, and on the other side of me giving like this and being this generous and showing you that I care, I get access to X. And that person is like, I'm okay with that arrangement, then it is what it is. But I don't know that everybody is going to have that, kind of dynamic. That's not going to work for everybody because, like you said, where's the money going to come from? Everybody's not going to be able to make, a healthy six figures to be able to date at a certain level and to be able to maintain a certain kind of lifestyle. I think that normally goes with paying for everything. I don't know if there's going to be enough men that are going to be able to make enough money to maintain that. And so there are going to be a lot of dudes who would just disqualify just on that. I mean, I think that to me, the bigger issue is not who should pay, is like I said, is what do finances mean for you to the people who are in the situation? If money signals to you as a woman that this man can provide and that he's interested, all of the things that we're told, this is what being a provider means. I think, 2 episodes ago, we talked about this with the Megan Clay thing. A lot of dudes who have that will know how to gesture. They'll know how to show you that they're interested by throwing money at you or paying for things. But, some of the people who provide the best lifestyles are also the biggest a-holes because they're not incentivized to work on their personality. They're thinking, yo, as long as I'm paying for stuff or as long as I have the bread to do whatever I want or to give her the lifestyle that she wants, I can treat her however. Now it's obviously not fair, but that kind of dynamic to me is what perpetuates that kind of mindset from somebody. And I think this is part of the reason why you have that kind of asymmetrical where you have all this 1% of guys that are getting love from this large group of women because a lot of them want that lifestyle and only this small group can provide. And they're just like he said that before. It's making them, I forgot what he called it. It's Porsche something. What did he call that? A Porsche, I don't know. But essentially it doesn't incentivize them to settle down. I think it's Porsche preferences or something like that. But essentially it's just like, yo, it just makes me want to give the money away and provide so I can have access to the sex. Not necessarily to a relationship or to really build with this person. It's just so I can leverage it to get what I want. And then it becomes transactional. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's outdated. I feel like we're in a day and age where, like we talked about before, being so rigid and so boxed into any kind of ideology or thinking is problematic. You got to be nimble. And yeah, I don't know that a guy paying for everything is going to be an ideal situation for anybody for over the long term.
Yeah.
Just me.
Agree to disagree. But
I mean,
no,
honestly,
I think
I don't see how it could. I'm just saying I don't really see how. I wouldn't say I disagree with it. I'm just saying I don't necessarily think it's a good long-term dynamic for anything.
I think it's a good long-term dynamic, as you said, if it works for somebody, if it works for those people involved, if someone has it or someone's aspiring to have it or that's their proclivity. But I also think two things. One, he mentioned, because you just addressed what you were saying, he mentioned the money. If you don't have the money, do something cool to do. But I'll tell you right now, I was just on the Met Opera website yesterday. And guys, let me tell you, if you want to do Swan Lake or La Boheme or a Magic Flute holiday presentation in December,
cost you an arm and a leg. You got to give up a friend to the firstborn.
Oh, it was
expensive like that?
to see tickets to see Magic Flute. And I was looking.
And see that?
I was looking.
Somebody's going to have to save up, start saving in June for tickets in December.
The holiday presentation? I said, let me just see what the United Theater is doing with Nutcracker. Let me go over there real quick. I'll go to Washington Heights and go see the Nutcracker because I ain't United Palace Theater.
Wow.
So I went back to the Met. And the Met will get you because the Met is like running their joint like Expedia. Like, hey, listen, prices are hot right now. 76 seats left. Up, the timer's going now. Like, are you going to decide or?
Like them Jay-Z tickets at
Yeah,
Yankee
no, seriously,
Stadium.
it's just like that on the mat. You're like, this is the mat? Wait a
Yeah.
minute. You're supposed to be promoting me into culture. And not like, hey, listen, you going to come see Mozart or not?
Yeah.
What? What are you going to do? Labo, what? Puccini, what? What you going to do?
That's
So
Mozart
the point
them
is,
pockets.
exactly. Your magic flute.
That bonus, that Christmas bonus, dance that right out your pockets, fam.
So my thing with the cool thing is I agree with him, but I just don't know if that really works. Here's the thing, though. I think and we'll have her, I think, on the next reaction, but there was a doctor I sent you who said she spoke to some of the issues you did, which I think you stated very eloquently, which is, listen, there's a lot of sociological, a lot of social and economic changes that are just converging in our modern society in ways that we could not have predicted. And because of that convergence, we're looking at sweeping changes that are impacting the social fabric of America and impacting mating and dating relationships. So now we're going to have to be a little bit more adaptable and think outside of the traditional box to get to an understanding of what does it really mean to couple in the 21 now. Remember dudes used to say the 90 now? And the 21 now, meaning the 21st century moving forward, because what's on the horizon based on what we're predicting with single majority nation, majority being women, men not being educated, not having access to resources, poverty levels, we're looking at very stark contrasts among genders in a way that I don't even think in the 80s they thought this would happen. No one was, I think, ringing that bell. When I've seen graduation rates for college, the year I graduated, which is 2002, and they're like, even back then, this is over almost 25 years ago. And they're saying, in 2002, the majority, even looking at Black and Latino populations, majority of the women graduated. The men were there, but it was just like, all right. It was like the beginning of all right, we're going to start landing this plane. And it's quite scary. On one hand, it's also, there's a lot of opportunity, but you brought up a very good point, which is we have to deal with the changes. We have to deal with what's here. If that is your ideal, I don't think he's whistling Dixie here. I don't think he's speaking erroneously here. I happen to agree with him, but I understand every man can't get there. So if every man can't get there, that means he can't be there. I think that's also wrong as well. We have to think, and I can hear that in his voice because he was like, try something cool to do. He's working through it, but these are just dire scenarios that we're in. So here's another opportunity you're giving. Here's another track for a train to run on. Not everyone's going to want to take the train to Boston. Some people want to go to Chicago, California, Denver. You know what I mean? Some people want to go up to Canada and cross the border and go to Montreal. So find the train that you want to hop on. But I will say this, it may mean you may date differently, meaning there's going to be a certain selection of women who are only cool, who are cool with the fact that you're thinking of things and cool and you're making effort. There's a selection of women who want to go with money. You're going to have to think about what pool you're in and then swim accordingly. I think that's also what's changing. I think back in the 80s, you feel like you can go out the head. I can get to Barbra Streisand if I want to. There's some dudes back in the day. Or I can get to Pam Grier. And nowadays it's like, nah, son, you're going to have to roll that back. You ain't going on no date with Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You couldn't afford a date with Shaka Khan. Oddly enough, I think you could have afforded a date with Shaka Khan in the 80s if you just talk about dinner in a movie or dinner in a high-class restaurant. But now, even the high-class joints, or what's considered high-class.
Through the fire.
Yeah.
To get the Shaka.
But even what's considered high class, now it used to be a dinner and some cocktails at a swank place.
Yeah.
That same thing is like, well, the swank place has to be here and it has to be flowing out to here and going out to here. So now what's swanky is totally different than what was swanky in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because not a bunch of people had access to private jets and no one was going to get no commercial flight to go to somewhere else. Now it's like, oh, you ain't got a Learjet to take me? Cool. Then we straight.
And luxury wasn't available to people like that.
That's
now
what I'm saying.
It's like companies have started to be like, well, you might not have 1,000 for the whole package, but I'll take your 200 and I'll let you customize what you can get from this luxury bucket.
Yeah. So now if you're not doing luxury when it's so easily accessible, you're viewed a certain way.
Yeah. And you know how I feel about luxury, but that's a whole nother episode. Let's go to this next clip because we could spend all day on that.
Yeah, I know. I was like, we might just stay on that, but I want to get to the rest of these clips.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I realized I was like going on dates with men and entertaining men that I don't have genuine, authentic emotional connection with or even attraction to sometimes, I am leveraging for an outcome here. And women do it every day, and so do men. It didn't feel good enough to me. So that is when I stopped going on the dates, thanked my matchmaker with love, and I went to my fertility doctor. And I told him my dilemma. And he said, well, Ebony, you're uniquely positioned in that you can go about motherhood in a solo capacity in New York City. And I researched and I did my due diligence and I decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to come back to this dating marketplace. I'm going to come back no longer trying to fill a void of I need to get a man to make my motherhood dream come true. I'm going to come back as a mother and I'm going to come back with a purity of intention that says now I am dating exclusively for emotional and romantic connection.
Banger to me. That's a banger. That's a banger. That's a banger to me. Agree to disagree.
Let me hear why it bangs so much to you, Sir Heath.
Growth. It was growth. To see someone say, I went from try to leverage a relationship to solve a problem to now I want to be in a relationship to connect. So I'm now not trying to pressure myself and pressure someone else to engineer an outcome. I'm actually now taking care of the outcome on my own terms through the means available to me and the means that I bring to the table for myself and for my future child. And then anyone I would date now, it's about, hey, how can we bond together? How can we have a connection? Which is means one hand washes the other, both hands wash their face. As opposed to I'm going to leverage you and push you and hijack the conversation because I'm on a timeline, which women are who want to have children. And this is what needs to happen by X amount of date. And then trying to just hijinks, we're trying to hijinks our way into that. It was like, nah, son, I don't need all that. I can just go have the child. I can be on my own. And now we can have a conversation that's about me and you. Because I want you to hear about me, but I also want to hear about you. And together we do something. And I thought that was a beautiful story. And we've seen the evolution of Ebony K. Williams over the years. And it's great to see people grow and evolve and think through and problem solve and come out the other end of dealing with what we're also emphasizing on this podcast, togetherness and connection. So that's why I thought it was a banger.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I didn't necessarily get that from this only because to me, she's still, like she said, leveraging for an outcome. It may not be about motherhood anymore, but there's still a void there that you're using someone to fill. So let me just say this first. If I was a friend of hers, I would tell her based on what she's talked about in the past in terms of the type of guy that she would date, coming back into the dating market as a mom, she's putting herself behind the eight ball. Because the guys that she likes to date, they don't want to join families. They want to create their own. So I would tell her, listen, you might be decreasing your dating pool even more. Because before, if you were with the guy who needed to either own the bus company or had to be making a certain type of money, those men don't want to be stepdads. A lot of them are not trying to join a family. So, it might hurt her. Now, I do think it is growth that she has accepted that this is what I was doing in the past. I no longer want to do that. I do want to champion that because I do think that is growth. But I just feel like what she's talking about specifically, becoming a mom on her own, is not going to do her any favors. What I will say also is she touched on something that to me is an issue, but it's mirrored on the guy side as well, where I see a lot of women who will allow guys that they have no connection to take them out, splurge on them, take them all over the place, take them on dates, do all these things, pay for things. And like she's talking about, I had no connection to them. Some of I wasn't even attracted to, but I was going out on dates. I think that's mirrored. You see that women complain about men who just indiscriminately sleep around and they don't have any standard about, who they interact with intimately or physically. And I think in the same way that you can waste someone's time allowing them to splurge on you and to take you out when you don't have any connection to them, attraction to them, anything like that, it can have the same negative effects as a man who's just indiscriminately sleeping with a whole bunch of people and never learning how to connect, never learning how to treat a woman or interface with a woman outside of her body intimately. I think it can have the same kind of effect. But I was glad that was something that, again, like you talked about, she's growing from.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing I think with having children. I'm not a woman. You're not a woman. And I believe from what I'm speaking to women, Certain women are operating, obviously women will argue that they're operating on a biological clock. I'm not going to tell you when or not to have a baby or you shouldn't have a baby. Look, she wants to have a kid, have a kid. Are there some men who will accept it? Yes. Are there some men who will reject it? Yes. It's just whatever. It's like people say, hey man, don't become a bodybuilder. Some women don't like all those muscles. All right. There's some do, some don't. Either you'll find a woman who's into fitness and likes it, or you'll find a woman who's like, nah, that's too much. You're in the gym all the time. Cause that comes with a regimen, right? You're asleep
Yeah.
by 9:30. I need to have a little party in you, and you don't have any party because a party takes away from your goal. So anyone who's high achieving in those realms is not really going to get with someone who's a little bit more casual partier, which is fine. I just think there's segments in the market. She wanted to have a child. Congrats to her and her child birthing experience and what she did. Great for her. I would tell her, listen, like any other decision you make that's a watershed event in your life, like going to school, going to law school in her case, I don't know if she was a judge or not, getting a certain type of job, moving to a new city. These are all watershed events in your life. Any watershed event, you're changing the matrix and you're changing, in the case of dating and mating, who you can meet, how you can meet, and how you can date. When you're in law school trying to get a clerkship and you're trying to study hard, your dating options are what they are in school, and they're going to be limited, especially if you're driven in school. Same thing, go back to my bodybuilding analogy. I think she made a decision to have a child. Beautiful decision. Congrats to her. And now that comes with its own decisions that she's now made to move forward with her life. I don't think she didn't give herself any favors. I don't know what kind of men she's now dating or still trying to attract or go through. We know what she said before about, I don't do the bus driver, I don't do this. So I'm curious where she's at with that. But let's say it is where it still is. Congrats to you, and keep trying, because that's what we're all going to do at the end of the day when it comes to dating and mating is hopefully, not all of us, keep trying. You see people not
Yeah.
men
No,
and
no
women
doubt.
rolling off,
Mhm.
right? They're saying they're rolling off, men and women, and we're seeing it in the data. What do you say, incels, femcells, to people who are just like, no, I'm not an incel or femcel. I'm just not going to bother anymore because I can't take the rhetoric, I can't take the pressure, and I can't take the vitrolic nature of what's happening between men and women online, which is now translating to some cases offline engagements. But I do hope for her that she's able to find who she's looking for and find the arrangement that works for her. Congrats to her, and I hope she continues to rock out and find what she's looking for, not just in others, but in herself and with her family.
Word. Shout out to you, Ebony K. Williams. Next clip. Speaking of decisions.
Yeah, this is
Decisions.
I'll tell you this flat out. I am not scared to lose a man. I am not scared to
That's
get
the
divorced.
problem.
And no, it's not.
That's the
I-
problem. I don't think that we as women should be spreading our intimate things with men.
Do I think that my husband or my partner can go and have lunch or dinner with just a woman one-on-one? Yes.
Oh, I agree too. Yes.
She doesn't.
For what? Come to the house. I'll cook for you.
I need my time with my friend privately.
That's
Crazy.
weird.
See?
It's weird to me.
I want to catch up like with my dog. I want to talk.
But why
crazy.
can't
That's-
you do that in front of
I
your
already do.
man?
But I also can't share every single lived experience.
That's weird.
I'd be so resentful that my man controlled my life that much. It wouldn't work.
But is it control
And
or is it respect? Because I don't think, because for me, there's not a man on this planet that I would choose over my husband. This is your once in a lifetime, platinum needle in a haystack, swing for the fences, best friend, confidant, lover, husband.
But that's not true because people have multiple husbands.
No, and that's the thing. You see it different. But in my mind, I'm like, y'all don't want to be married.
Now, I'm curious because I do want to make sure we get to it. You had a second engagement.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Ooh, child.
First and foremost, shout out to Decisions.
Yeah.
They have been, I think, experimenting with some different types of, I think, dynamics
Their
on their
evolution's
podcast.
been dope. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been interesting to see. They're both great podcasters
Mhm.
and great podcast partners. I love their relationship. I love how they get down, and I really enjoy the guests they bring on, especially around some of these hotbed issues. They had Anwar, the dating coach, on there, which I thought was a great interview. He gives good interviews anyway, and I forgot this person's name, Dr. So-and-so.
Sarah Fontenot.
Yeah, Dr. Sarah Fontenot. This looked like to be a great interview as well.
Wait, she a doctor too? I didn't
Yeah, I
realize
believe
that.
so.
Oh, okay.
I believe so. I could be wrong. So I hope I didn't. I know that's a big thing now.
Licensure is huge
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Licensure and obtaining a doctoral degree. Yeah, it's a big thing. So this conversation was interesting to me because I'm with decisions decisions on this one. And just hey, you can do what you want. Hang out where you want to hang out with, go where you want to go. I think people have their own friends and their own way of getting down, and I think it's about the relationship that you have with that person and what they understand and what they're willing to connect with. If you're being upfront and honest, and they say I agree, then guess what? If the two be agreed, how can they be?
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. I will say, I hope I'm not out of line by saying this. This is one of the things that I do admire and appreciate about you and your partner,
Mm,
how much room and freedom you guys give each other with
mhm,
your friendships.
mhm,
Just based on some of the stories
mhm,
that you've told me, where it's like, she might be out with a coworker or
mhm,
you
mhm,
might be, out with some friends that you have, and y'all are not out together with these friends,
mhm,
you know, on these
mhm,
events or going to these different types of things. Like, to me, yes, I want to believe that people should have that kind of freedom in a
mhm,
relationship.
mhm,
I want to believe that people have the kind of maturity where my mind is not overworking thinking about what you're doing
mhm,
because I know your character.
mhm, mhm,
So I don't have to let my mind wonder about worst case scenario, what you might do because my eyes aren't on you. I don't want to have to think like that. And if I do, then I'm probably not going to be with you. So I will definitely say that I appreciate the freedom, the example that you guys lead with, giving each other the freedom.
mhm,
And I think it's a big sign of respect too, and a big
mhm,
sign of trust because why should I have to go behind you, watch every move that you do?
mhm.
Why should I have to second guess the people you're around, what you're doing when you're with them? Like that's a headache that's going to cause a split in our relationship if I got to worry about all of that stuff.
For sure. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man, absolutely.
And I'll say this, she also has the passwords to everything.
There you
It's like
go. So it is trust.
yeah, I
It
mean,
is like huge trust.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if I'm if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna get caught unless I get another burner phone, and now
Yeah.
I'm like the CIA in
One for the
Bulgaria.
plug, one for the love.
Yeah, exactly. Just stash the phone in the joint like James Bond. You just throw it in the garbage and pick up another phone at a drop spot somewhere else in a different country.
Yeah.
No, for me, here's my philosophy about the way I aspire my relationships to be.
Okay, I rest with my philosophy. Come
Exactly.
through.
No beat, no meat, no hamburger. Because to me, that's self murder.
Come through.
So freedom. I value freedom. Freedom's always been a personal value I've had since I was a kid. I never liked being told what to do. I did what I was supposed to do because I was going to get beat in a black home, but I always valued it. And one of the things that I always told myself as I became an adult is I was going to cherish my freedom. And then, of course, you couple with someone and you want to extend who you are to someone else, right? Because you become that person becomes you. So if I want to be free, I want you to be free. I want you to feel okay with that you can move around and that I'm not trying to subjugate you, hurt you, control you.
Mhm.
We all have our limitations and our boundaries. We all have our fears, right? Hey, listen, I'm feeling a little rocky about this. Can we talk about it? Or this is, you're going to have those things that well up or spring up at times. But it's about how you respond to it and how you deal with it in the long term and also sometimes in the short term. But for me, freedom is a big personal value. Oh, I'll tell you like this. Growing up, I remember I used to joke with my parents and I say, I can't wait to be an adult. My parents were, sure, I'll be a kid. You want to pay these bills? And I'll tell you, this is going to sound crazy to everybody listening. I love paying bills. Now, I don't want to pay so many bills that I feel like I can't swim and the water's coming up beyond my mouth and my nose. No, I don't want that. But to me, because I valued being an adult so much as a child growing up in a very strict home, paying bills to me is a sign like I'm independent. I can do
So
my
do
own
you
thing.
really like the paying bills or the independence? Having
Well,
responsibility.
I would say this. I have no problem with responsibility. And I know responsibility comes with bills. So if that's what it comes with, then I'm saying, okay, well then it comes with bills.
I got you.
But I'm still enjoying this better than, you know what I mean, being in the house like, I don't want no girls over here. It's like, nah,
Mhm.
son, I'm
Keep your
beating and
room door
eating.
open.
Exactly. 48 years old. Keo, you doing? But I pay rent here. I don't care what you do. You gonna keep the room door open? Nah, I'm not doing all that.
Still got to put your name on the carton of orange
Yeah,
juice and all.
exactly.
Like, yeah, no, we're
I had
not
this
doing all of that.
conversation with my aunt where I said, some of the things you want in life, you have to leave your family system, namely a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
In some cultures, they still get married within their family system, like a cousin or a distant cousin. But in general, you leave your family system for what you want. For example, I grew up, even though I was very acutely aware of sex and sex culture, personally, I knew I can't go to my parents like, yeah, I'm going to have this girl over and I'm going to close the door. My parents were like, the hell you are? You go crazy up in here. I'll turn this place upside down before you keep that door closed.
Close that casket. That's what you're going to do.
Close your hospital door. Yeah, exactly. When I get done with you, right? So I understood if in the way I look, you want the responsibility of doing that, then you have to leave the family system. You have to go strike out on your own and get your own life for you to fulfill those desires. Okay, well then if that's the argument, I'm not going to sit here and sneak and try to buck the family system. I'm going to go get my own. No problem for me. Took me longer than I wanted sometimes, but thank God I'm here. My partner and I are here. So that's what I loved about what they were saying is freedom to me. You know,
Yeah.
and I also think you, Sarah Follett,
Fine.
was saying the right thing too. If that works for you, if you want cake, come over the house and cook dinner. I don't want any privacy. It depends on what works for you.
Yeah. I mean, her saying that is weird that they would want individual time with a friend. That's extreme.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I would imagine that even in the best of traditions with couples who love to be around each other, they also need their own space. There's nobody that I know, even in like some of the best relationships that I've seen, that they want to be up under each other all of the time. You
Mhm.
do need your individual time with your
Mhm.
friends, by yourself, with the kids, if y'all have them. Like, there's times that you need to be away. Absence really does make the heart grow fonder. So I
Mhm.
think that freedom to me is just a norm of you need space. You just need space. And I think it should be normal that you have. Now, I think the caption was, can you do it with a friend of the opposite sex? Obviously, that's going to get tricky for different relationships because we know that P plus D equals F all the time.
Man,
And
Noriega,
sometimes when men and women are just in proximity,
things happen,
it's just the
or things
energy.
can happen. Yeah.
It's just, masculine and feminine energy being in the same space. It's drawn to each other. So yeah, sometimes if your energy is high and you're attractive and you're around someone else who's charming, they have great energy and they're attractive, yeah, it could be an issue. But I would just assume if it's a friend of yours, y'all have already created those boundaries. Y'all have already set, what you guys are. You're not stepping over the line. You don't have your partner worried about if y'all are overstepping,
Mhm,
if
mhm,
y'all are
mhm.
crossing boundaries. So like it really shouldn't be an issue.
I like what you just said there because to me, I'm delineating between attraction and action.
Oh yeah.
Attraction is just
Hmm.
sometimes you're just attracted.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes there's a super chemical thing when you connect eyes with somebody on the street. I remember my homegirl said one day she was walking down the street, Central Park West, saw some guy, they connected, and he walked a couple of feet and was like, "Excuse me." She goes, "Yes." He goes, "Do you have a man?" And she was like, "No." And he's like, "What's wrong with us?" And he introduced himself, really, because he just like in that moment, he was like, "Nah, nah, 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 nah,
Can't
nah,
let
nah,
this
nah.
go by.
Yeah, I can't let this go by." And it wasn't about like, oh, fat, but he was literally was like, "Yo, wait a minute. I'm feeling something here." She was telling me the story. She was feeling something. He stopped, initiated, and I think they went a couple of dates from there. But that was really like the reality of that scenario. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
You're going to be attracted to people. My question is, do you understand what action is?
Hmm.
Do you understand what's appropriate? Have you talked to your spouse about what's appropriate flirting or what's no flirting at all? Do you know what lines and boundaries are? I think that's where self-control and self-modulation come into play. That's where they come into the story. And a lot of people at times don't want to have that conversation because the moment I'm horny, that means it needs to be
Yeah. I
satiated
got to
through
do
this
something.
path.
Yeah.
The moment I'm angry, it needs to be satiated through this path. Someone made me pissed off at work. Now here comes Mr. and Mrs. or he, she, they petty. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can work on becoming someone else. It may take time, but you can work on becoming someone else and having healthier actions, especially around attraction.
Yeah. And I hate to say this because I'm nobody's judge or jury, but I don't think it should be that way. I think we are supposed to be disciplined as adults. We're
Mhm.
supposed to have
Yeah.
self-control
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
adults. That's a marker for someone who's
The maturity.
matured, yeah,
Yeah,
at
seriously.
to that level where, listen, I know my body's on fire. Like Jeremiah said, it's shut up in my bones. But listen, at the end of the day, I realize that I don't have to act on every impulse.
Mhm, mhm,
And, even though, like we talked about, this energy is high and this
mhm,
attraction
mhm.
is high, and my everything in me is saying, do something to this person, you still have to be conscious of what you got at home. You still have to be conscious of the relationship dynamic that you establish with this person that you're already seeing. Again, they shouldn't have to worry about if you're going to be able to be disciplined and have enough self restraint to say no. Your partner shouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. And one of the things I saw was a study where it says most men who don't cheat on their wives, and this is just a male study, but I'm sure it may apply to women as well. Empathy. They were like, I don't want to hurt my wife. I know if she found out, she would be crushed. And so you think about the other person's response in the midst of what you're feeling. before you respond to give you a perspective
Mm.
of the impact of that response. If I do X, it's going to impact and create these downstream impacts. So something to think about when we talk about how do you self-modulate. Bring the other person's pain in before your action decision.
I wish I had that back in 2013.
That's real.
You
That's
know,
real.
I wasn't thinking about her pain. I was only thinking about my own.
That's real. That's
And
real.
yo, listen, this is what we're talking about. Selfishness, not self-discipline, can lead you down a dark path. And even though the pain that I was feeling came from a real place, a legit
Mhm.
place, it was still incumbent upon me to have enough discipline to talk about it first before it imploded into that level.
Mhm. Yeah.
Before it got to that level, it should have been, hey, I'm feeling this way about
Multiple
something you
steps.
said.
Yeah.
It could have been that. And
Yeah.
as an adult, that's really where we should be.
Absolutely.
We should be
Yeah. Yeah.
mature enough to say, hey, listen, I know I feel this way. And this is because I talked to you about this too. A lot of times when we don't talk about our feelings, they just grow and they
Yeah. They fester.
push us
Yeah.
to do
Yes.
something.
Yeah. Exactly. Because
When you
all you're
could have
getting is
talked
that
about it in the
reinforcement. That
beginning,
reinforcement.
hey, babe, I'm feeling this way about something you said. But no, we left it inside, swept it under the rug. And then like you said, it kept getting up, rising. We finally implode. And then before you know it, you got to confess to something that you did
hmm
when you really
hmm
could have just talked about your feelings. So
Yeah. That's a very powerful statement. And thank you for being vulnerable in this moment. I first and foremost want to honor that. Thank you, because you're absolutely hitting on what is required step by step, brick by brick, to build trust and also understand that there are levels to communication. One of the things I learned in therapy, first therapist I went with, she was talking to me about, and I kind of coined this phrase when she helped me bring out some of my own behaviors and things I saw in my family system, this idea of slave and rage. So either you're just taking and taking and taking crap from people, and then the rage part is why you flip out and you almost do something so crazy, so over the top, because you're just at a peak level of rage because you're like, look what I've been taking. But really what's happening is you got to ask, well, why were you slaving for so long? There were other times you could say, hey, man, stop, please. And most of the times, some of the situations that you were in at 2 or 3 would have stopped it. But you kept taking it till 9. Now you're at 10. And now you come with the nuclear response. You asking for the keys, turn the drink and hit the red button. Everyone's like, hey, yo, what are you doing? You're like, nah, man, I done had enough.
yeah,
Well, you could have sent a CIA spy in there and neutralized that.
he's like, nope,
But
nuclear
now
launch
you're about to
codes.
nuke and vaporize a whole group of people, a whole population, because you let something sit and fester. You let something metastasize in your soul.
Mm,
And a lot of us don't deal with that and say, hey, man, you know that really doesn't work for me.
yeah. Guys, talk about your feelings.
Yeah, seriously, man, I'm being honest.
Please get it out.
Yeah,
Get it.
yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult at times, even as much as I am a pro therapy advocate, I sometimes get stymied because sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself, or I don't like the fact that I don't feel like I'm being listened to at the level that I feel like I deserve to be listened to. Still keep talking.
Mm-hmm.
Still keep getting it off your chest. Still keep communicating.
And
You
talk
got to
some
figure
more.
that out. Yeah,
If
and
you
then
can't,
talk some more.
yeah, if it's not with your partner, hopefully you got a friend group or some kind
Yeah.
of outlet that you can get it out with in therapy. But yeah, after you talk some more.
Talk some more.
All right.
Yeah.
Last clip.
Here we
That was a
go.
good one.
Yeah, it was.
Don't ever let somebody control you with money. Somebody says, I'll take care of it and I'll take care of you and I'll take care of this. That person could leave. That person can hurt you. You always keep your job. Your job is your life insurance. My mom used to always say that to me. Don't ever let.
Here, well, I know you got a lot to say about that.
Because I was going to reference this on the first clip, but we hadn't gotten to it yet. But I was going to say that to me, that's one of the, potential risks of letting men pay for everything. If you're a woman, you could easily end up in a situation, which we know so many women have, where it's like, well, their men got them under their thumb because they're paying for everything. Is they living in a golden cage? It's like, yeah, I might be kept, and yes, everything is paid for, and yes, I can get my hair and nails done and all of that, and I can go out brunch with the girls, but like, this man controls everything that I do.
Yeah. Instacart again? It's like, yeah, we have to eat every 2
Essentially,
weeks.
I'm under his ownership. Or at least that's how he's treating me. And to what she was saying, like, yo, at any point, he could leave. He could decide, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. He could die. And, I don't know if you remember this on tonight's conversation cards, but they had a conversation about provision. And Trip Fontaine was like, provision is not just money, it's infrastructure. And I
Yes.
think this is what you're talking
Yes.
about. If someone
Yes.
passes away and you've just been kept this whole time, you don't know how to run the
Yes.
business. You don't know how to
Yes.
run the household. You haven't been, paying for things. Nothing is in your name. So if someone comes and they just, hey man, we want this house. You don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's one of the potential risks. I like what she's talking about. I think every adult should have some type of means of making money to take care of themselves. When you
I agree.
decide to date, your calculus and this person's calculus will be put together, and y'all will decide what makes sense for the two of you all, for the both of you. But
I agree.
to just have it on one person, if something happens to that one person,
Well, I definitely saw that in my personal life, right? When my bio dad was killed, my paternal father and biological father was killed, paternal father. Biological father was killed. My mom had the job and she was able to maintain and keep things moving forward so that I can get the education that I got in order to do the things that I eventually was able to do. That was because of her, because he had his own business and things were rocky at the time that he was killed. Oh, that left consequently nothing really there except a social security check. Oh, I understand that very clearly. That is why when I talk about freedom, and I don't have a problem if you want to pay for everything as a man, but one of the things I've seen this guy, Yada Awakening, he does talk about, yeah, my wife has this, my wife has that, my wife has this. Yeah, he's taking care of them, but he's also making sure he built a business that they can step into, run, and be responsible for. I believe if he seems to have infrastructure, I don't know his personal business, that in the event he's no longer there, they can sustain themselves. They have money they've been putting away and rolling over, hopefully Roth or IRAs or some kind of investment vehicle, Spider Index Fund, Vanguard Index, do something. And then that person's able to sustain themselves. And that's what I believe also when it comes to provisions. I'm saying, yes, if that's what you want to do and that's what you aspire to do. I know what I aspire to do, pay the bills, but someone should have the freedom to come and go. You want to leave? Everything's already in your name. Take it, leave. I don't want to hold anyone back or bring anyone under my thumb. That is not what I want to do. I want you to know that we choose to be together and we choose to thrive together. We choose to grow together. We choose to excel together. You want to roll out? You want to roll out. I told you the Dave Portnoy story from Barstools. He was married. It took him 10 years to get Barstools.com off the ground. He finally did. Him and his wife got divorced. He gave her 10 mil.
pieced it right off.
Pieced her right off. And he's like, why? He's like, yo, she was there for me when no one else was there for me. So why wouldn't I give it to her? She was there for me.
Even past the divorce, like, no,
Yeah.
she's earned those stripes with me.
Yeah. So here, take it. Fuck do I care? And he goes, I'm still friends with her. She's about to get married. I'm cool with her boyfriend, her new man, fiance. So what does it mean to me? Right? That's Dave Portnoy's argument. And I totally agree with everything he did and everything he said. Because to me, it's like, if you've been loyal to me and we've been loyal to each other and loyal to the program, but things romantically just don't work out, well, then here, take the shit. The fuck I care. You earned your stripes. You graduated with a PhD, as far as I'm concerned, PhD in this relationship. Who am I to now say you ain't got it?
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference between provision and having a financial leash. Okay, well, if you're providing for this woman, is the house in her name? Does she know where the deed's at? Does she have numbers to the insurance agent
Is she
and
a
the lawyer
signer on any of the bank accounts?
Yeah,
All of that.
Is she a signee? Yes, exactly. Yeah. On these bank accounts. Can she call up the brokerage firm and find out what's happening? Because I've heard stories of people being so aloof of what's happening, and that person dies and finds out, yo, you're broke. What? But he told me, and I was yeah, you're broke. Here you are now in your autumn years of your life trying to figure it out. That's not right.
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's not right.
Not at all.
You just set somebody up for failure, because what's going to happen now? They can't provide for themselves. The provision years are gone, or the ability to provide and get hired is gone.
Yeah, it's harder for them to get back into the working, into the workforce. So yeah.
Yeah, so I understand that. But this is what happens when you don't, this like old school stuff, like, the husband dying in the early 90s and the wife's never written a check. Come on, man. Nah, guys. No. That's not what I mean by financial provision or paying for things or doing something for somebody, making effort, being an initiator and leading with love or provide, or doing things for people. If you want to take provision, let's take providing out of it because I know it's a lower term. Doing things for people. You have to empower people. She should know where the life insurance policies are at if that's what you're going to do. And there's her name on it. You should be having quarterly, annual meetings. Okay, I spoke to her. She can call up the life insurance agent on her own. Hey, I just want to check, make sure this thing ain't rolling over policies and taking cash value off insurance policies. What's happening over here?
Yeah. He should know how to take care of a kid if they have a special need. Like,
Yeah, both on both and yeah. So
we got to be balancing each
yeah,
other out.
yeah. So I mean, you don't want to be in a situation where, oh, I don't know how to take care of this kid, so the kid's going to a home.
Yeah,
Well, wait
no,
a minute.
that shouldn't even be a
I
thing.
just lost his mother. Nah, man, nah. And
But yes, but
right,
we know it's happening. Yes.
this is what happens with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Too aloof, too comfortable with how things are. And I'm not saying someone can't take the lead or someone's, you know what, this is how I love my place. I serve by doing X. I cook and I clean, or I serve by paying for these trips. Whatever. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. That's how you serve. I'm just saying if someone needs to take a credit card to pay for something in an emergency, do they have a credit card to pay for something in an emergency? I don't know where the passports are at. He keeps them locked up. Wait a minute. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lock up passports? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Is
And
that your
we're
husband
laughing,
or your
but
caregiver?
yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Or your dungeon master.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your warden.
Yeah.
What is that?
You'll go to Turks and Caicos when I say you can go to Turks and Caicos. Fuck.
Girls trip. Oh, you need money for that? Don't think about it.
Yeah.
And then she got to give you 3 extra BJs a night just to be able. Like, it's like
exactly. That's crazy to me.
I can understand why Reese said what she said.
Yeah.
Because
And I agree too, because it's like, wait a minute, you're not gonna have me out here hemmed up, begging, pleading. That's humiliating.
yeah,
That's humiliating to somebody.
yeah, it's
Dehumanizing. It is.
dehumanizing, but it's showing you how they feel dehumanized. Like, yo, you don't even trust me enough to tell me what the bank account is. I can't even have access to that, or what? What am I, a kid?
Yeah.
Everything's in your name. Nothing could be in my name. Like, I can't get easy access to anything if I need it, because it's really not even I need it. The home needs it. The family needs it. Like, what?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not
that's
empowered.
crazy.
I like that word. I'm not empowered to do
Yeah.
something on behalf of the home because everything's in your name.
Yeah,
Like, no.
no, we're not doing that. And listen, I learned that from personal experience. I mean, thankfully, my dad wasn't like that. But because my mom was able to sustain herself, she was able to sustain the trajectory I was on with my education and my life, because she was empowered and she was a self-starter and had her own career. So I'm all about that. Now, if you want to be here and she has her own career and you're paying for the bills, okay, cool. You're making that provision and you're doing those things on that person's behalf. Beautiful. But to put somebody in a situation where they can't do for themselves, again, freedom is a big value for me. I'm not perfect with it. I'm sure I have blind spots that I need to correct every single day or correct over time as well. But when I start hearing certain things like I locked this up and you can't access that, and what the fuck?
It's a problem.
Yeah, someone can't plan a trip for themselves to go. Well, I'm gonna go with my homegirls to the girls trip. We all figure out the schedule, figure out what works, and then she go on the girls trip. Well, I gotta approve. No, I don't approve nothing.
Approval process.
I don't approve nothing. I don't want to approve anything. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to be there, dog. You know what I'm saying? This is my mentality.
I gotta submit a permission slip.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Get
saying.
it notarized and all. What's going on out here?
Yeah. Now, if I say to you say to me, you're going on a girls trip, and I feel uncomfortable. Maybe there's an unction, something in my spirit, something. Then we're gonna talk about it. But it ain't me telling you no.
Yeah, not full stop.
Grown ass human
go.
being.
Yeah, it's not a control.
Let's just plan it out. Okay, you were going here because your work trip. Okay, let's just calibrate and figure out how to do it. But approving it, giving someone permission. If you keep doing things I don't like, then it's a conversation and we take it from there.
Yeah. As mature adults should be able to do.
Mature adults. Yeah. I don't want to control anything about anybody. And I believe, and I'm going to go spiritual here, it really has to do with God's love, because God don't control me.
Gave you a lot of freedom.
And grace.
Free will. And grace. And redirection and redemption.
Yeah.
When you're the freedom of your decisions gets you in hot water. And
so what, then how that to me is being exemplifying God's love when you give it to your partner.
Paying it
right, you got grace and you got freedom.
Yeah, facts.
I heard someone recently tell me like they knew that their spouse's credit cards were off the chain and they knew why. And they were like, yo, I told them I'll take care of it after I done paying some other stuff over here. And I know why they did it. And I know part of the reason they did it was some stuff that was like ridiculous, but it don't matter. Like, I want to make sure this person's has got it and they're protected. And I know why they're doing it. Because this is what I'm saying. I don't want to be in these petty games of controlling you and how dare you come in here with that. And if it's something that gets out of hand, then we're going to have a conversation and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Should be that pretty simple, but
I just don't want to do that. I'm telling you guys, to me, if that is how God loves you, or I would say, put it this way, you should be loving people the way God loves you.
Do unto others.
Yeah, the same grace and mercy that you get extended when you keep doing that thing you saying that you're not doing, or things you know you're being convicted about. And this even goes for people who just have a more spiritual sense. They may not believe in a person God. Come on, man. You want grace and mercy, but then you're not giving grace and mercy or freedom or I don't want to control anybody. Just do you.
Control is
I'd
the
rather you
last thing
choose
I want
and
over
want.
somebody.
Yeah, I'd rather you choose and want to be with me, and we grow from that space. Than I got you hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Yeah, because anything you control, you really have to maintain. You have to have a system
Yes.
of sustenance
Yeah.
and maintenance for it.
Yeah. Or sometimes oppression or suppression.
That's part of
I
the
don't.
maintenance sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
I don't want
I don't
that.
see God in
Yeah,
that. I don't see God in that.
and I just personally don't want that.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
have to go, because I mean, I know how I am. Yo, son, the way I be busting down these baseboards and corners in my crib cleaning, I'm just like, to have to go behind somebody and do that. I gotta make sure you did your work, or I gotta make sure you did X, Y. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
So I don't want to control anyone.
Fold the bed duvet like
Yeah,
this.
like,
And it's like,
no thanks. I'm good on all of that.
Yeah.
I'm good
Either
on
you're
all
gonna do
of
it or
that.
you're not gonna do it. And if you're not gonna do it, then I'll do it. And it's like, whatever, man. Like, I'll figure it out. I'm not gonna be sitting here arguing over duvet covers. I'm not gonna be doing that. I got other things to do. No, man, there's people out here trying to kill us, and we're arguing over duvet covers. People rolling back rights, and we arguing over duvet covers. Well, I'm good, man.
Yeah. And on that note,
This has been a banger episode for me.
it's been fun.
We agreed to disagree on a couple of points,
Yeah.
back and forth, and got to some incredible highs and, I believe, epiphanies on certain topics.
No doubt.
I'm grateful for it. Guys, as always, at Save the Date Now, check us out, TikTok, YouTube, and the Gram. And this has been another episode of Save the Date. I'm Heath.
I'm Jamie, y'all.
Till next time.
Peace.
Take care.